The price of fuel have increased, right? So we've seen the hike, and we've seen NLC argue that they didn't carry, there should have been more to be done. And Dangote and other refineries and independent marketers have said that the reason why there's a hike is simply because of the international price of crude oil, which have gone up from $70 per barrel to $90 per barrel. I mean, how significant is the impact of rising global crude oil prices on domestic fuel cost in Nigeria? And could this trend continue?
Now, well, going by the legal framework in Nigeria right now, we cannot completely isolate petroleum pricing from global trends. And that's because the regulation is the policy in the oil and gas sector right now as it relates to PMS. And however, once the input goes up, obviously the output needs to go up. But in terms of pricing and all of that, it's something that I think at some point in time, there may be a need to do some modulation to ensure that the effect of those increments don't directly impact on our inflation.
And what role does Dangote Refinery's pricing strategy play in just stabilizing or escalating PMS prices in the country?
The story we were told was that the Dangote Refinery will be buying crude in naira. And what that obviously means is that the vagaries around forex fluctuations will not be applicable there. So for me, if the government really wants to help to create some form of stability, they can create a single market for the Dangote Refinery and other local refineries to ensure that they're able to at least control the prices from going up. If you want to sell locally the same cost you sell to people outside Nigeria in terms of crude, it means that you obviously want to open Nigeria market to the volatility that will come from crude price fluctuations. It's not today that crude prices have been going up, but we understand the direct nexus between the cost of PMS and that to the everyday life of the ordinary Nigerian. With the level of inflation that has happened over the last 18 months, I think to a large extent, the government can leverage on the fact that we have a local refinery right now and do some bit of price stability by direct interventions as it relates to crude prices.
And there's been argument about, a few price hike affecting Nigeria's inflation rates. And so I have to ask you, how will this happen? And just the overall economic stability, especially for low-income households.
Well, unfortunately, the price of commodities over the years in Nigeria has been tied directly to the cost of PMS. And they tell you it's transport. The other day, I was trying to buy some fruits in the market, and the guy said, fuel don't cost. And I told him, but it's diesel that your trucks bring in this fruits with. And diesel price has been stable for over 1 year. But it's first psychological, but secondly, and more importantly, there's the transition to CNG, which the government has made the swan song over the period of time. I don't think CNG prices are volatile. They should more or less walk the talk on that front so that the volatility surrounding price of PMS would not affect the average Nigerian. Mass transit is also another way around it to help bring down the effect of those kind of tendencies against the common man. But hopefully, we hope that beyond policy, the government will do better in making a lot of actions to all the plenty policy talks around making the things better for the average Nigerian.
And just lastly, you talked about measures for the government, in just cushioning the effect. What measures would you, advise for the government to implement to cushion the effect of this price increases on Nigerians while maintaining market stability?
Well, subsidy is gone, so I think Nigeria should take their mind off subsidy. What I think the government should do is to accelerate the CNG program, make all the CNG kits available to mass transit vehicles first. And I'm sure with that, it would control the tendencies around the volatility around fuel. CNG is in abundance and is wasting in our creeks. And if we harness that potential, there should be some energy stability in the system. The ball is in the government's court right now because the cost of converting vehicles from conventional fossil fuel to CNG is on the prohibitive side. If I had a chance to weigh in, I'll tell them to remove all duties around the importation of those kind of kits. Of course, increase renewable energy importation too, so that Nigerians can go off grid, depend less on petrol, and of course, more importantly, make power available with that, there's less dependency and less demand for petrol. And once there's lesser demand, as economic law says, the supply outweighs the demand, and of course, prices will crash.
I mean, I must say thank you, Stanley, for taking out the time to join us. We appreciate you for doing this with us. Stanley, just giving us a bit of insight here when it comes to the price hike, what the government should do, and when it comes to measures to cushioning the effects of a hike in price. Once again, thank you.